Do you guys bring condoms on a date, even when you feel like, oh, the other person should be responsible? He's the man, or he's the dominant, or she's the dominant, so they should be responsible for the protection of both of us. I mean, listen, I think that people try to commit suicide every day in various ways. All of us, we try to commit suicide every day, and we show each other what we truly think about ourselves and how reckless we are with ourselves. And just note that someone who is reckless with themselves can never be careful with you. Okay, I said it. So Nicki Minaj dropped her track list. Huh? Yes, for all of the girls who are waiting. You know, I had a discussion about music with one of my friends the other day. And this brings me to the subject of Nicki Minaj. But let's first get into her track list. So she's going to have features from The Weeknd, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Ariana Grande, and of course, Foxy Brown. Bitch is about to go deaf on your ass. Fox Boogie Brown is bad. Foxy Brown, Inga is a legend. Inga Marchand is a legend. You hear me? Inga is a fucking legend. Inga was 15, 16 years old on the cover of The Source with damn near no fucking clothes on, okay? Inga's a fucking legend. Never forget. Never forget. Listen, okay? Broken Silence is probably one of the dopest rap albums in life. We can argue about it if you want, if you feel like losing. I don't care what you say. You can turn on Tables Will Turn and I Taste Just Like Candy right now featuring Khalees, and that shit would go off, okay? I don't care what you say. Now, when you speak about someone like that, like Foxy Brown, I would never compare Foxy Brown to Nicki Minaj. I can see that Nicki Minaj is probably influenced by Foxy Brown. Here's why I would compare Foxy and old Nicki, mixtape Nicki. I wouldn't compare Nicki, pink print Nicki, to Foxy Brown. Here's why. I think one of the major problems that I have with people and how they listen to music is that sometimes people are not discerning enough to understand the difference between an artist, a musical artist, and someone who just makes music. You know what I mean? I think that Taylor Swift makes music. I don't think she's an artist. No shade, no tea to the Swiffer keepers out there. I know y'all love your girl. And listen, she got some shit that sometimes I even be knowing the songs too. I'd be like, damn you, Target. Why do I know this song? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? Yeah, songs like that. I know that's not Taylor Swift, but those girls, them type of artists, those type of musicians rather. I think that when you are creating and you are creating for a specific audience, I'm creating for teen girls in angst who just want to hear me sing about how terrible men are. I don't think that you can be creative in that space, because in that point in time, your creativity is so stifled because it's so specific. I think that when you look at an artist like Foxy Brown was making rap music. Foxy Brown wasn't making rap music specifically for black girls who had an attitude back in 1998. And who only wore their ponytails to the side. No, she was making rap music. So niggas loved her. Women loved her. People loved her. And that makes your music timeless. When your music is less about creating it for one genre of people and more about creating just art. And I think that a lot of times what I feel from Nicki is that Nicki is not... She's so hell-bent on being on the charts and breaking records and getting the money. And I get that. I get all of that. But I think that she's got to stop making music for Sophia Grace and her little cousin. Remember them two little British white girls from Ellen who just went off about Nicki Minaj? That's who Nicki Minaj, I feel like that's who she's making music for. I don't believe that she's making music for all of us. Because I feel like if she was making music for all of us, then it wouldn't be this like, I know Nicki Minaj is smart. I know she's smart. Because there's no way that you could have gotten around all the bullshit happening with your brother and the bullshit with Meek Mill and the bullshit between you and everybody being on Twitter talking to random people, answering random people. Like, what the fuck are you doing perched up there talking down to us, bitch? Why are you answering people's fucking tweets? Like, girl, bye. I know that Nicki Minaj is smart to have gotten to the point where she can still make this album. But my hope is that the context of this album has elevated. And she's not talking to all of us like we're 15-year-old girls. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not that music. I hope that she gets into herself. I hope she gets back to herself. But who knows? Speaking of which, Russell Simmons. Scumbag Russell Simmons, allegedly. Well, Russell Simmons wants to sue his accuser. He wants her to pay him $35,000 for filing a baseless lawsuit. Now, this is based on a woman who said that she met Russell Simmons at a concert that she was at with her son, where he allegedly raped her. Well, Russell says that this is a baseless lawsuit and that this accuser is just doing this for the purposes of publicity, which the case has definitely garnered publicity, and obviously for financial gain. So he's countersuing her. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I think that is his right. I think one of the things that we have to stop doing is when we bring up, the allegations that are against certain celebrities for sexual misconduct. I don't think that's the time for us to bring up their accolades. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a time to talk about the fact that Russell Simmons is the father of hip hop and he made the way for so many people. There is a multifacetedness to all of that stuff. It's like when you talk about Bill Cosby and his rape allegations and you say, one thing I had to learn is that, especially as someone who has now since gone through my own domestic violence situation or situation where I have been assaulted in whatever kind of way, I think one thing you have to realize is that whoever you're accusing, to talk about all of the things that they've ever done that was right, it doesn't nullify anything that they could have possibly done wrong. Yes, that person could have a fucking Santa Claus list of great things that they have done. Has nothing to do with this one thing. It doesn't have anything to do with it. So, I know who Russell Simmons is, and though I recognize his place in history, and I am forever grateful for his place in history and in pop culture, I don't think that it nullifies the fact that there are several women who are accusing him of heinous acts. Now, only him and these women know whether or not these accusations are true or false. What I can say is that it's Russell's right to protect himself and his reputation and all that he's worked for. And it's these women's rights to also protect themselves, So I hope that this situation gets settled. And I hope that, somehow, some way, there is a level of requisition that can be delivered regarding the situation. Okay, so what is next, you folks? Yo, can we get into the September issues that are coming out? All right, so it's a very Black September, isn't it? Are we not excited? I'm excited. Okay, so for one, which September issue are you guys most excited about? Let's go through them, okay, shall we? So Beyonce will be covering American Vogue. Yes, very exciting. First time in the history of Vogue, a Black photographer will be photographing the cover or has photographed the cover because, as we know, the cover has already been shot. I gotta say this. It's August. So when you guys started talking about these September issues, I immediately was like, oh, let me go to the store. It's only August. So by the time those issues drop, I would have damn near heard the whole out. Like, you guys got to stop that shit. You fucking Lemonade Beehive niggas got to stop this shit, yo. You ruin everything for everyone. You go to your fucking On the Run concert and you film the whole concert and you post all of it on Instagram, ruining it for everybody else. That's why Beyonce always got to change shit up, because you get on her nerves. Anyway. Okay, so Rihanna, along with one of my personal fashion heroes, Edward Enninful, will be covering British Vogue. Ebony, Issa Rae will be covering Ebony, and they're doing a fashion issue. Speaking of which, Insecure comes back this Sunday. Who's excited? Whoop, whoop. I am. But do we all know that Jay Ellis will not be returning? We'll get into that in a second. Elle magazine will be covered by the one, the only, the magnanimous Tracee Ellis Ross, one of my faves. Marie Claire will be covered by Zendaya. Glamour will be covered by Tiffany Haddish. And Porter magazine will be covered by Lupita Nyong'o. First of all, I gotta say that it's a toss-up for me. I'm very excited for British Vogue, because I really just love Edward Enninful. I think that he is brilliant. He is just brilliant. And I think that anytime that him and Rihanna work together, I'm just always excited. Anytime he works with anybody, I just think that he's fucking amazing. So I'm really excited about the creative behind that. And I'm also excited to see Tracee Ellis Ross, because I just think that, like, her style is innately impeccable. Like, she's one of those people. There are very few people in the world who can just put on anything, and they're just so adorable. Listen, I have a friend, shout out to Mode Abattoir's very own Stylegasm Greenie. Hey, Greenie. My Neek. She's one of those people that can definitely just kind of put on anything and just look really great, you know? So I can't wait to see Tracee Ellis Ross. And for you guys that are listening, follow Mode Abattoir. Mode Abattoir. I will add it on a post, but you guys need to follow. Speaking of Insecure, because we were speaking of Insecure. So Jay Ellis, people who are in love with the Lawrence Hive, Jay Ellis will not be returning for the third season of Insecure. Now, Issa Rae stated that she really wants to explore the whole idea that this season about life after your ex. And so that meant that she could not include Jay Ellis or Lawrence's character. You know, she felt like there was some real completion at the end of season 2 with their conversation. And to be honest with you, I actually like the fact that we're not going to see this whole ex thing dragging out. Because to me, I feel like we all do it too much. And I think that we need to see something depicted that's showing us that sometimes you need to have a clean cut in order for you to kind of just move on. You know, I think sometimes all of us just kind of hang on to everything too tightly, especially when it comes to people that we've been with. It's so hard to separate yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I think that if you are not forced to say, you know what, there's a hard cutoff for whatever reason between myself and this person, that you'll just drag out a relationship where God is trying to put a period, you're trying to put a comma. Where God trying to put a period, you're trying to put a comma. Don't put no comma, put the period. Let God put the period. Don't put the comma, okay? Don't put the comma where God's trying to put the period. Amen. Speaking of period, okay, so last night Kanye West appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now, I'm not one to watch Jimmy Kimmel unless somebody good is going to be on it, like a Tracy Ellis Ross or a Donald Glover performance or something like that. Outside of that, like I hear my parents watching it sometimes or whatever the case is. I don't get into it. Listen, it's just not my thing. Robin Thede was my thing and BET canceled her. Thank you very much, BET, for always fucking up.